Hello, I'm Chris from Bagogames, and I'm here with
John Warner from Over the Moon Games.
and I'm here interviewing him for the Fall 2 Unbound, which is the second game following the Fall, which was released in 2014 originally, and then 2015 on console, was it?
Yes, I believe so.
So I've not played that much of the game, but I have been playing it. I've gotten into it. I know the mechanics. I quite like the game. It's a fun game. And I just tried the Fall 2 here at EGX, and it's quite good, quite good. I noticed that quite a bit of it was very like Metroid, the sub-network section.
Oh yeah, there was a little bit more that's a little bit more Metroid inspired for sure.
Yeah. One of the things from the first game, it's not a big part of the game at all, but it's one of the things that I wondered if it would have been altered in the Fall 2, is actually just the simple mechanics of movement. So it's kind of it's not a very fast game.
No, certainly not.
No, I mean the action, you have the cover system for the action,
right.
But in terms of just like getting around the levels, one of the things I noticed was the jumping felt a little janky.
Okay.
So I just wondered if that was addressed in the second game. In the sub-network section, there was lots of like jumping and flipping and things, which wasn't in the first game. Is that in the whole game, or is that just in that section?
Yeah, so it's just in the section. So basically the gameplay, a lot of it is quartered off into different sections so that we can kind of explore and play with different ideas in different parts of the game.
Okay.
So the character Arid enters this network section to go and connect with these different robots because she needs to enlist their help, and each one of them has slightly different gameplay mechanics. But on the network, Arid is a little bit more like free and active, and there's a very little bit of platforming and some shooting and some stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not enough that it's like a big, thing to really sink your teeth into, but there'd be a little bit. It's something to cleanse the palate and something to have fun with and explore while the game is going on. Really.
Yeah, because normally the game is there's quite a lot of a puzzle element to it for sure. For scanning the environment to find clues and get through.
I've heard it called an aim and click adventure.
Right. Okay. So the actual game Fallout, the Fall 2. Is there a lot more of that, or is there more action in this game?
Oh no, sure. It's still mostly the adventure element for sure. It's just that we've segmented it a little bit more, and the way it works, like the combat system in the first game, has obviously been removed and replaced with a little bit of shooting in the network section. And then one of the characters also has a sort of martial arts mechanic that's that's implemented with him.
Okay. So in the second game, what you have is you go through different robots that have different.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. So in the first game, you're just the same robot pretty much throughout, as far as I know.
Oh, sorry. In the which game?
In the first game.
In the first one, that's correct.
Yeah. So that's obviously a big change in the game. What other changes have you got for the sequel?
Well, that is a huge. Obviously, that's a big structural change.
Yeah.
The character obviously is going to go through another type of development in this game, and there's all sorts of like little, tweaks to the polish. A lot of people complain about the aiming in part one. The controls were difficult. They've been streamlined a lot this time, and we've tried to like we were talking about a minute ago with removing the combat system for part one and redoing it for part two.
Yeah.
The goal there was we wanted to implement combat systems that we could actually use to integrate more with our narrative and actually, have it change slightly over time that in a way, hopefully, that will create some meaning.
Right, okay, that's great.
But other than that, I mean, that is basically the change of part two. That's what's different about it.
Right. And you told me earlier that it's carrying on from the end of Fall 1?
Absolutely, yeah. The Fall 2 will start up like just moments after part 1.
Okay. So obviously I've not got to the end of Fall 1 yet. But
well, I won't give any spoilers.
But I'm planning on it. So the demo, did that give... Obviously there was no spoilers in that, but was that kind of the in-between of the first and the second, so it's setting up the second game? No,
so the way
it's just a separate story.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So that'll be, it was completely different, really. It was. It was sort
just
of an amalgamation of different components into its own little narrative.
So it's just demonstrating the mechanics of the game.
Yeah. Got it, exactly.
Will the second game have anything in relation to the Steam Workshop? Anything like that? Any kind of user?
No, we're interested in user-generated content, but the truth of the matter is, designing the puzzles takes so long, and there's really when the game is done, there's very few of them.
Right.
It doesn't make sense to make user-generated content because it's not really a systems game where you can have 6 weapons and a bunch of platformer puzzles or whatever.
Yeah,
There's a lot of stuff that needs to be hand-coded. So even if I tried to distill it down into core elements that you could use in a level editor, I'm not sure that would create a very good experience for anybody. I think it's the type of thing where we just have to hand script it.
Yeah. So with that demo, obviously you got the Fall 2 that's going to come out. Are you planning on doing any spin-offs or anything that could be, say, in the universe of the Fall?
I don't think so. It's possible, maybe, if we can do something that really doesn't interfere with the first story. But the trilogy is planned out to be a really complete, cohesive story.
Okay.
And we'd really just like to leave it at that. I mean, if the Fall 3 makes $1 billion, then obviously we're going to be tempted
to carry on. Yeah.
But we're going to do our best to just close the lid on it and just leave.
Which sometimes is the best way to do it.
I think it is often. Yeah.
Sometimes people carry on making the games and they kind of trail off.
Stop before people want you to stop.
Yeah.
That's the best place. It's hard to do, but
that's a good way of thinking. You've made some improvements to the game, like you said, with the movement and the combat system. Graphics also seem to be slightly improved, is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we added a little more detail. The Fall Part 1 was really quite simple.
Yeah.
The Fall Part 2 obviously has got the same art style, but we've added the environment's a little more detailed, the lighting's a little more complex, just more detail everywhere basically. And we've gotten a little bit sneaky. I've actually gotten a lot better at using a lot of assets that I've been able to purchase online. Because our development team is still very small.
Yeah.
So what we do is we take assets where we can, we edit them. Well, everything needs to be edited, of course, to make it work. And then it's really just a question of being resourceful. But the game looks a lot better this time around.
Yeah, I think the first game did look good as well. I like you've got a whole kind of atmosphere of the game,
right?
And the graphics go hand in hand with that. It all fits together. So I think it works, and like you say, it does look better in the second one.
Right. Well, thank you. Yeah. Well, I mean, the key is really in this one. There's just so many more environments. I think in the Fall Part 1, there was really, 2 environments really, and you could break up the second area into about 3 if you really wanted to.
Right.
But I mean, really, it was quite simple. In this game, there's, 8 or 9 completely different areas.
Okay.
So there's a lot of content and a lot to do.
That's good. And in relation to the Fall 3.
Yeah.
When that one comes out, is that going to have even more environments, or
we really don't know. We have an outline for what we want to do with it, but we also leave it open to a certain extent based on where we are, where we actually think that the people are responding to it and where we want to go with it. There's a little bit of wiggle room for us to explore new content and go in a different direction. So could be more, could be less. I'm not sure.
Okay.
It really depends on what the story needs.
When's the release date for the Fall 2?
We are aiming first half of 2017.
And is that going to be just PC, or is that going to be everything?
It'll be everything, yeah.
Everything,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if it wasn't consoles, we could probably do it in the first quarter. As it is, we might be able to do it in the first quarter, but it's looking more like the first half, probably.
Okay, that gives me plenty of time to finish the first one.
Sorry?
Anyway, that gives me time to finish the first one.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
So I can get to the second one.
Please do,
And I know it's obviously far ahead, but do you have any idea when the Fall 3?
Oh, no idea.
No, nothing for that yet.
A couple years at least, I would say. Hopefully quicker than the Fall 2.
Okay.
But our process keeps improving, so hopefully development will pick up.
Well, I think it should do because the first game quite successful.
It was fairly successful. The launch itself was a complete and total failure.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but it took a lot of flogging to get it to catch. But it has caught, and we've made a little bit of cash, so we're able to fund the second one, and I think as long as the second one does as well, which I think it probably will, I think we'll continue to be fine, and we can pay the bills and keep the lights on. So life is good.
That's what's important. Yeah,
that's the only thing that's really important, I guess.
All right. Well, thanks for having this interview with me.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Cheers, and make sure you check out the Fall 2 Unbound, coming out next year, early-ish sometime.